I'd like to welcome you to the City Governance Committee on the 21st of July 2020. I declare the meeting open at 9 a.m. and I'd like to advise the meeting attendees that this meeting is being audio recorded. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we are gathered and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. We have leave of absence from Councillor Russell. I move a motion to approve Councillor Russell's leave of absence. I'd like to open that to the floor to vote. Can I have a show of hands, please? That has been carried, thank you. To start off with, I'm aware that Dr. Scott Burke is in the audience here, and I'm just wondering if anyone has any general business for the Director of Innovation and City Transformation. Any general business? Dr. Burke, do you have any general business for us at all? Okay, you can head back to work. Thank you. I just need to remind everyone that... We just need a seconder. Okay, my apologies. We do need a seconder for the leave of absence for Councillor Russell. I move that Councillor Russell have a leave of absence. Councillor Karansky has seconded the leave of absence. And a show of hands again, please. That has been carried unanimously. Thank you. I refer to item 4.1 of the agenda. May I ask Administration Manager Ms Kay Sullivan to enter the discussions, and I note that this is a confidential report. Item 6.1, proposed lease of land building in Jimboomba. Before I go into confidential, do any councillors wish to declare a conflict of interest in relation to this? No. I'll call for a mover to go into confidential under section 271E of the Local Government Regulation 2012. Can I have a mover, please, to go into confidential? Thank you. Councillor Murphy has moved that. Can I have a seconder, please? Show of hands. Councillor Lane has seconded. A show of hands. All in favour? Thank you. That has been carried unanimously, and we are now in confidential. I now kindly request all members of the public to leave the meeting. The recording will be suspended during the meeting and will recommence when it's reopened. Okay, we have the audio recording back on. Is there someone to move the recommendation, the confidential report? Councillor Hall has removed it. Councillor Karansky has seconded. Can I have a show of hands who is in support of that? Councillor, that is carried unanimously. Thank you. Okay, we are now up to general business. Does anyone have any general business for Ms Kay Sullivan? No general business. Oh, Mr Mayor, yes.
Yeah, just a question to Robert. The minor infrastructure program, are we going to have a workshop on that, on the policy, how that's put together?
Yes, there's been a couple of directors working on a process with regard to the minor infrastructure program, so that will come back very shortly. Okay, so timing is of the essence, so we're going to... It's on the 28th, Mr. Sorry? 28th of this month, Mr Mayor. Okay.
28th of July. Thank you. Any other general business for Ms Sullivan? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I refer now to item 5.1, establishment of the Procurement and Appropriations Special Committee. And I ask Director of Organisational Services, Mr Robert Strachan, to enter the discussions. But before we do, any conflicts of interest in relation to this item? No conflicts of interest, thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you. Through the Chair, this report recommends the creation of a Procurement and Appropriation Special Committee. Before you today, you have a draft terms of reference and also a updated calendar of meetings for July to December 2020. I'll take the report as read. One thing we do need to do is just to finalise the chair of this new committee and also the members of the committee. So I think there was an email that went out yesterday from the Deputy Mayor just asking for expressions of interest. As far as I know at this stage, we only have one nomination for the chair of the meeting.
Oh, yes, for the chair.
And that is Councillor Jacob Jeremiah. So I don't think we need a ballot today to determine that. So if everyone's happy, we'll just put in Councillor Jeremiah as the chair into the terms of reference and into the resolution of the report. And there was also an email that went out just expressing interest in membership. So we might have to ask you today. I don't know whether I saw all the responses to that email that was sent out by the Deputy Mayor. So we might have to ask you today through the chair just to lock in the membership.
Okay. I do have a response, Councillor Jeremiah, for Chair. Are you happy for that, Councillor Jeremiah? Fantastic. And I do have a response for members for this particular committee, myself, Councillor Stemp, Councillor Wilcox, Councillor Bannon and Councillor Fraser. Are there any other requests to be on this committee? Okay. Is it possible to note those? Okay. And any questions before I ask for a mover for this? No, Mr Mayor.
No, it's not a question. I just want to make a statement. I am really looking forward to this happening. In the community, we have so many experts out there who think they know more than council. On so many occasions over the life of my political career here, there's always people out there who think they can do better, think they can get cheaper, and so many times have proven wrong. And I remember during the election, I was questioned about what it costs for a kilometre of footpath. And I spoke and said it's just a bit under $100,000, and I was absolutely criticised by the fact that council were getting ripped off and that, you know, this was so overpriced. And I googled what the price of reinforced concrete was on Google, and I worked out the square meterage as 1.25 by a kilometre, and I worked out that in actual fact we were getting a good price. There's so many people out there that think they know better. There's so many times they've been proven wrong. I'm glad this committee's going in place because it gives us the opportunity to educate the public that the tendering process isn't as bad as what people think it is, and that we are getting good prices for a lot of things. And so many times sporting clubs have come to this council and said, oh, we can do better than that, we can build for a lot cheaper than that. And guess what, like 2 years later, we give them the opportunity and then we're going to tear it down because they haven't obliged by the building code, or they haven't complied with the materials. And there's a litany of stories in this council where the community think they've done better or can do better, but in actual fact have been proven wrong. So I'm really looking forward to this committee being set up so that we've got an avenue to address all those council concerns, and of course being a watchdog to make sure that council is getting the best price. So I just want to acknowledge the councillors who thought this idea up. I think it's a great initiative and I wish them luck.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and I totally agree with you. Any other questions or comments before I ask for a mover? Okay, there is a recommendation up on the board. Is there someone happy to move this? Councillor Jeremiah, Councillor Wilcox is second. Can I have a show of hands who's in support of this, please? Thank you, that is carried. Now refer to a late report, 7.1, the Audit Committee meeting on June 2020, and I will refer to Mr Robert Strachan again to enter discussions on this. But before we go into this, are there any conflicts of interest from anyone? No conflicts of interest, thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you. Through the chair, this is a report from our Council's Audit Committee. It's a requirement that this report from the Audit Committee or the minutes from the Audit Committee or the major activities of the Audit Committee are tabled at the City Governance Committee for consideration. So I'm happy to take the report as read and just answer any questions you might have.
Are there any questions at all from anyone? Councillor Wilcox and I were within this meeting, so we have a perspective of it, but we weren't there for the whole meeting. It seems to go for a lot longer than is allocated. Okay, is there someone happy to move the reception of the report? Councillor Wilcox, Councillor Raven, a second. Show of hands, please. Thank you, that is carried. Do we have any general business for Mr Strachan? No general business. Do you have any general business for us? Thank you. I now declare the meeting closed at 9:15. Thank you, everyone. The next committee will start in 10 minutes.